Okay, we're going to roll back into our top 12 driver media availabilities here at Atlanta Motor Speedway. 50th anniversary of this racetrack, and certainly a man who's had success here of late, winning a couple times here recently in the spring races, and that's Kurt Busch, driver number 2, Miller Lite Dodge for Penske Racing. And Kurt, I know there's nothing better than you'd like to tack on another win here tomorrow night at Atlanta Motor Speedway.
Yeah, this is definitely one of those fun racetracks that drivers get excited to race on. Just with the tire drop-off here, it's more extreme here than any other racetrack. And so you really have to find 2 different setups in your car without changing a bolt. And what I mean by that is you have your fresh tires on restarts when you've got to make some bold moves and try to get by the guys. And then you've got your long 40, 50 lap runs that you have, and that's the same setup that you have to make sure that you have dialed in on your car. So it's a nice challenge. And right now we've tried some things in practice that have shown speed, but when I put the setup in that we won with in March, it seems to just have that comfort level built right back into the car. So we got a couple quick things to tweak before race time starts, and with the way that practice went for us today, we were fast right off the truck, which was basically our winning setup from March. And then as the speeds picked up later on in qualifying trim, we didn't quite have all the speed that we wanted, but make a couple changes, let her rip, and let the rough edges drag on the Miller Lite Dodge in qualifying, and then see what we get come race time, because this is a long, grueling race where you have to settle in and know that there's going to be yellows at any time, but your mindset is to race the racetrack and not the other competitors.
Okay, we'll take questions. First one is from Mike Mulhern, then we'll go Kenny, and then Jay. Go ahead, Mike.
Mike Muller, MikeMuller.net. Let's look to the chase. Everybody's locked in the chase pretty much, I guess. And you got this race and you got Richmond, of course. But looking at the chase, those 10 races, give me your view of how you would like to see those 10 races go. I mean, are you going to pick and choose a couple of races that you want to focus on, that you're going to run well at? Or are you going to try and just see what Jimmy Johnson does, for example? Or tell me how you are going to look at those 10 races and how you would like to see it go.
I win all 10 and not give anybody a chance to do anything. I mean, we have our good tracks, we have our mediocre tracks, and then there's a track or two that I know we're going to struggle on. And the way that I won it back in 2004 is those tracks that I knew that I was going to struggle on, we went and tested prior, tried to get as many laps in as we could, and tried to really dial our car in and go above and beyond, and just try to take away weaknesses. With that being said, we can't just go and test with the way the testing policies are now with what tracks we're going to struggle on. So we really have to do the best job we can and to not take ourselves out of contention. And you can't be out of contention halfway through. You still have to be in it to win it within 80 to 100 points around halfway. So there's some good tracks in the beginning for us, like Loudon. I really like going there. It's been a great track for us. And bonus points are important, which is leading laps, possibly leading the most if you can. And then those wins really can rack up. If you get 2 wins and a 30th place finish, those mixed together will be better than somebody running 10th all 3 weeks. So it's just a matter of seeing what the pace setter is going to set, and if we can just omit some of the mistakes or the troublesome tracks that we're going to see, just have smooth runs there, we'll be all right.
We'll go Kenny, and then Jay. Go ahead, Kenny.
Kenny Bruce, SceneDaily.com. Kurt, you kind of touched on this a little bit, but at this point in the season, when you look back, what do you think the strong points of your team have been, and do you think there are any areas where you might be weak that need to be taken care of? And also, what have you learned from your previous chase experience that'll help you this year?
Well, again, it's tough. I mean, with Mike's question and yours as well, I mean, we're not locked in, but we're close. But we just can't have a motor failure like we had up in Michigan. If we go and do our job as normal with a 10th place finish or better this weekend, which we hope for, then we'll be locked in. But the mindset and what we've got to do, and my past experience just says to be patient, to run a conservative type of program with how you race during the race, and to make sure that you get those good solid finishes, and to make sure that there's not that one troublesome race that just holds you back. This year 2010 feels a lot like 2009 for us. I mean, it's almost identical with a couple wins heading into the chase, running fourth in points. Now we're 10th with the motor failure, but the group 4th to 10th, man, those guys, you can put a blanket over all of us. We're the same. You know, Harvick has definitely run a consistent season this year. Then you have Denny and Jimmy Johnson who have got those wins. And then Gordon's run very consistent, but he hasn't won. Conservative more in just the approach on the racetrack. If I see a hole and I know I can gain a position, but there's a question, you don't go in there. You just kind of let it go for a little bit. You know, if you fade back to 7th place, maybe there's more time in the race just to get back in there. But we hope we've got dominant cars. We hope we've got the speed we need, and we're out there racing for that W. You know, if it came down to racing Jimmy Johnson the same way I did at Loudon to win a race in the chase, you wouldn't see anything different.
Go ahead, Jay.
Jay Pennell with front stretch and all left turns. Sort of touching on the same thing there. You know, you mentioned Harvick and Jimmy and Denny. Do you see a favorite going into the chase? And with the variables of how competitive everybody's been throughout the year, you know, they won their 5 races at one part of the year. Now they've kind of struggled. Harvick's been consistent all the way through. You throw in double file restarts and green-white checkers. Is this the person who wins this championship going to do it differently than they have in the past? And is there a favorite going into it?
Yeah, it's really hard to know if it's going to be won in a different manner. It's as if you see who the pace setter is and how they're doing it. You know, if Johnson comes right out of the block and wins Loudon, Dover, and Kansas, we all can't get discouraged. We still have to keep fighting, but he will have those 3 wins and those extra bonus points. You know, when I was able to take home the championship in 04, I knew consistency was going to be the key, and also being prepared in advance was also a key. But it's really hard to find a favorite. It's really hard to find a pattern right now. You just got to race each race smart and not put yourself in position to where you lose points and you're working from behind. When you're working from behind, it just seems like you can never get caught up.
Next question for Kurt. Anybody? Anybody else in the back? Mulhernan's got another one. If we could get him a mic, please.
Yeah, let me follow up on that. I'm getting the impression that you're looking at Dover and New Hampshire as being places where everybody's going to be a little conservative. You don't want to screw up and lose it like Tony did a couple of years ago, the very first race out of the box. And then when you get to Kansas, that's when you're going to have a better feel and everybody can really start racing. Are you looking at it sort of like that to get a feel the first couple of races and see if Jimmy's been sandbagging or if Kevin has a whole lot more going for him?
You know, listen to you speak and just the thoughts going through my mind. It's not Texas Hold'em, but you don't push all your chips in early. You got to build your points, your chips up, just so that you have a stash for later on when things do get busy.
Next question. Any questions for Kurt? Anybody else? Okay, Kurt, thank you so much. We got one more. Jay's got one right here.
Just with the success that you've had here in Atlanta, you know, all the races previous, obviously, except for this one last year, have been during the day. This race is going to be moved forward, night race, become a night race from now on. What can you take from the notes that you had, you know, from those day races and transfer over to now this being an exclusively a night race?
Yeah, last year this was the first time for a night race, but it was just very hot outside, and the heat is the most important factor, and of course the sun has a lot to do with it. But it just seemed like last year when the sun went down, the track never got any better for us in a sense, so we had to adjust our setup a little bit trying to come here. When you race in March, it's just cooler outside, it's easier on the tires, it's easier on the engines, and so with this being a night race, I enjoy the fact that we're going to come here from now on, as many years as we can see into the future, as a Atlanta Labor Day night race, and start the tradition, start the excitement and the feel around what this race will mean. Because when you have just one date on the calendar a year, it seems like the prestige value of that date and to win and to go to victory lane at that track bumps up a little bit. So it's almost like Atlanta will be a more prestigious win now to win here than it will be Kansas, because Kansas will have 2 dates next year.
Any further questions for Kurt? All right, Kurt, thank you so much, and good luck this weekend.
Great, thank you.